Hey everybody, Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts here. Sorry you can't see me. Um, and I'm actually a few minutes early this evening. One of these days I'll get it. And as usual, just hopping over to make sure I'm actually live. Yep, I'm actually live. Okay, so now that I am done with shows prep for at least a week or so, I can focus a little bit on just some fun stuff that I wanted to do, including this reel that I've had saved forever. That's this little globe sphere pop-up card. So it actually folds flat to fit down into the envelope. All we're doing today is making the card base because I haven't quite decided how I want to decorate it. And of course, now I've folded it down. I can't get it folded back up. And you'll see, I have a link to the reel in the video description, and you'll see what I mean, because she had little cutouts that she put down in like inside the card. I haven't gotten that far because I just wanted to be able to make it. And I also didn't decorate my background at a time, which I haven't done here either. So I might come back like in another couple of days with another live where we make this again, but we actually decorate it. But for now, I just wanted to do the base. And this is one of those things where I had to watch the reel and I had to write down the instructions and then pause the reel, then write down the instructions, pause the reel. I actually tried to do this earlier as a recording, having not ever made it before. And I'm like, that's not going to work. I actually had to make the card because the notes I made weren't the best as I was going back trying to figure it out. And it was, I'm spatially challenged in some ways. And so like figuring out how to put the card together, I needed a minute. Might still need a minute now, but we'll see. So you're going to just start out with some cardstock. The thicker, the sturdier, the better. And then I have a 3.5 inch circle punch. You don't necessarily need a circle punch. You can make circles out of anything you want. But I have the punch. If you watch the reel, it's going to tell you you only need 3 circles. You actually need 5. And you'll figure that out as you come to the end of the reel. So I'm going to go ahead and punch all 5. Actually, what I might go ahead and do is my paper going out. I might go ahead and grab some different paper for the background. And I opted to do this in white just to start off with so that I could just, so you all could see better. I felt like it might be better to see me like drawing the lines for measurement and things like that if it was white cardstock as opposed to a different color. But I am going to, sorry, give me 1 second. I can do this quickly. Grab some. I'm going to grab a pack of my Scrappy Boy stamps paper. Also going to I can't rotate my camera in StreamYard, I don't think. Okay. So I'm going to grab a pack of this and I'm going to grab this pack and I'm going to take 1 sheet of the pattern paper and cut a circle out of that. And this is going to be the backdrop there. So even if you're just wanting to use white cardstock to play around with to begin with, if you want to go ahead and give yourself a little something for the background, you can do that. Set all that aside. Okay. So I'm going to set the background aside and then one of the circles aside because we won't use those until the end. And then you're going to take another 2 circles and set those aside. Okay, 3. Oh, right. Sorry. See, I'm already ahead of myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the circles in half. And makes me think of something. I've got a got a target list going on my I've got one on my web browser and I've been adding things to it throughout the day. And I was watching the reel and she had a protractor and I was like, oh my God, that would be like so lovely for something like this to be able to really accurately get the middle. I mean, who has a protractor anymore? I haven't had a protractor since what? I don't even remember. Grade school, probably. Maybe high school. I don't know. Okay, so you're going to cut all your circles in half. And I am doing that by just folding them. Also having to order some new scissors because not only have my creative memory scissors now disappeared, and I still haven't ordered a new pair of those. But my just other regular scissors down here, my craft room, have disappeared. So I am using my grandmother's sewing scissors, fabric scissors, which are Lord only knows how many years old, probably as old as I am, and really no longer cut very well. I really only have them for sentimental value, but okay. So we've cut all of our circles in half. You're going to set 2 of the half circles aside. And then what the reel is going to tell you to do is you're going to draw a line at the 6 millimeter. You're going to draw, you're going to draw a line at the 6 millimeter mark on the half circle, which is about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to take one circle. And no, I did not know that 6 millimeters was about 1/4 of an inch before I started doing this. I had to look it up. And we're going to draw that line and you're going to cut these strips off. But what I'm going to do is cut this first one. And then we're going to use this one to figure out where the line should be on all the rest of the circles. That line. I'm getting very big into making templates for things when I have to cut and measure. So let's measure one thing and then use that one thing to measure and cut everything else. Okay. So now we're going to cut these. I'm trying to mess a little bit with my lighting this evening and my camera angle. I have my camera down a little closer than normal, which I think is, to me, looks better. And especially for this, because it was some detail work here. I wanted everybody to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay. So now you have 4 smaller half circles and 2 larger half circles. So now what you're going to do on all 6 circles, you're going to draw a line in the center and 2 centimeters on either side. And this is where having the protractor would be very nice. So these are not quite, they're not quite 9 centimeters long. So 2 hash marks before 9 centimeters. So when I did this before, I did then made the halfway mark 1 hash mark before 4.5, and then 2 centimeters to the left and 2 centimeters to the right of that. And then kind of following the same principle, not really going to measure again. Well, that's the large circle. I might have to measure again on the smaller circle, but not really going to measure again. Just going to use this to line up my, gotta hold it still, to line up my marks. So then we're going to measure this one. So that was on the large circle. The large circles, and we're going to measure the small circles. These are really more like 1 past 8.5, 2 past 8.5. So half of 8.5 is 4.25. So yes, I'm challenged here. Let me see if I can do it this way. So I'm going to line it up on my mat, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, almost 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. All right, so we're going to fold this one in half. When in doubt, just fold it. Okay, so I am getting a message from StreamYard saying it's having trouble streaming to YouTube. So I'm going to hop over to YouTube because I checked it before. Okay, it's there. So I don't know what's going on. We're just going to leave it alone. Okay, so I have the halfway mark. And then we're going to go lining the measuring tape up with that. And then we're going to go 2 centimeters to the right. And then 2 centimeters to the left. And I'm going to put a pencil mark at the halfway point because we're going to take these and we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use this first one to show us where to cut on all the others. So, lessons learned on the cutting that I will share with you. I'm trying to figure out if I want to measure. So, what you're going to do is you're going to cut lines at those hash marks. Half of your circles from the bottom. So you want 2 of your small circles and 1 large one, and half of your circles from the top. Now, what I figured out in doing this is, one, these lines need to be pretty long, and they also need to be about the same length on all of the circles. So I'm actually going to do some very light lines at the, and make 1 1/4 inch marks on these, so that when I cut, I'm cutting them. So I'm going to do 1 1/4 on the large circles and 1 inch on the small circles. And you'll see why when we start to put this together. Now, obviously on this, I kind of have to I do actually have to mark each one. And I feel like this is one of those things that after you've done this a few times, you probably wouldn't necessarily have to do this. And if you are someone who is highly skilled at more complex cards, you probably don't have to do it. I am not. That is something that I'm actually working on. Like to up my game in terms of my card making, which is why I saved the reel. So I was like, oh, I want to try and see if I can do that. I think pop-up cards are amazing. And those lines are so not straight, but it's really just about how long they are, not like cutting in that exact place. So I'm just going to trust my scissors to cut straight and not necessarily worry about cutting along the line. I can't draw a straight line with the ruler. Okay, so then this is the last large circle, which I made lines at 1 1/4. Okay. So then, like I said, you're going to cut half of the circles from the bottom and half from the top. Trying to cut straight and cut them all about the same. And you want to go pretty deep because these pieces are all gonna end up nesting within each other. And so you want everything to be nice and lined up, and the card itself, the base, to sit flat. So the putting it together was the hardest part. And I've kind of thought about like numbering the pieces. So then on these, I'm going to go from the top, which also means I should have drawn the lines on them the other direction. See, this is why I don't do this stuff, y'all. Somebody caught that when I was doing it, I'm quite sure. Oh, so I thought about numbering the pieces so that you could be like, okay, so, you know, or, you know, letters like A goes into B, B goes into C, that sort of thing. But hopefully now that I've done it once, I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. We'll see. And some of you are going to be able to look at this very easily and know exactly how it's all supposed to fit together. Okay. So you're going to start putting the card together using the big pieces first. And so you take the piece that's cut from the bottom and, you know, slide the piece that's cut from the top down. And then you go on the outside there. Right, and then you take the other half circle and slide it in there. So now you have half of your sphere. And then you take the pieces that are cut from the bottom and you do the same thing on these outer edges. This is what is a little challenging for me. When you watch on the reel when she does it, it's just like completely effortless. But probably done it a gazillion times and is much more familiar. I also think maybe even thicker cardstock than what I used might work better because it would hold its shape better and be a little sturdier. This is all coming together easier than the last time I did it though, so probably also one of those things that the more times you do it, the more familiar you are with it, the easier it becomes. This is also why you want your lines, the lines that you cut, to be the same length as much as possible so that it fits together correctly. There we go. And pushes down flat to the ground. Okay, so we have this, right? Get everything in line here. They also probably aren't quite measured out correctly. I'll have to work on that for future cards. But it does what it's supposed to do, which is to fold flat. There we go. And then pop back open. And then you're going to take some glue and you're going to stabilize it by gluing down these three ends. So you can fold it flat to do that, or you can just do it this way. I'm not sure that it really matters. This is one of those things that I think like some zip dry would be really nice to have. I like this combo, but it doesn't dry all that fast. And so something that dries a little faster for this would be probably really helpful. And I got a little excess glue over there, but that's actually okay because we're going to be adding another half circle to the back of this to stabilize it, which is hence that you really need 5 circles or 4.5 circles, not just the 3 that she mentions at the beginning of the reel. Okay, so we have those folded down, and then I still have a half circle left over from earlier. No, that did not. So I'm not going to cut another one. We are going to flatten that down. Oh wait, yes I am, because that's not the right kind of cardstock. But you want this to be a small half circle. So we're going to fold it in half. Cut it, and then we're going to cut off that 1/4 inch. You could also use pattern paper for this, because it would show a little bit. Stick some glue on there. Okay, and then we're going to attach this to the back there. It's going to stabilize that just a little bit. And we're going to pop it back open. And then we're going to take our patterned paper, and this is double-sided, which is nice. So then you've got, a little bit of pattern on both sides. And I'm going to put the glue on this so I don't get any excess. I'm just going to hold it down and let that dry. And then what you'll see if you watch the reel is that she had little cutouts. I'm assuming that we're done for like I glue all over my fingers. Like we're done with the print and cut on like a Cricut or a Cameo. And, she put those, glued those into these little cubby holes, so to speak. But they were flat so that they stood up if the card was stood up. But if they, if you folded it, they would lay flat. And then she had a sentiment up here, which, I could easily write something or stamp something on a piece of cardstock, colored cardstock, and put it there. But what I think would actually be really cute on this, since I opted for this ornament patterned paper, would be ornaments, you know, kind of all over, like even some like stuck down in here and then some, you know, kind of up here. So I'm going to think about that. Okay, so that was really all for this video. Was just to, sorry, took it out of the camera, was just to show you how to make the base. I didn't get glue everywhere. And so like I said, I will do another video where we either do an entire one again from the beginning and decorate it, or I just take this one and add the decorations. I am going to write out all of the steps and put it in, put a link to it in the video description. So I'll create, sorry, I keep taking it out of the camera range. So I'll make a PDF for that and put that in the video description. The link to the reel is already there. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there and keep building this little cutie pie out. Okay, so thank you all for watching, and I will be live tomorrow with another project. I'll also be live tomorrow very briefly with your organizing tip of the week. Maybe we should do an organizing project tomorrow. I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I'd love to know what you thought about this. And if you have other projects you would like to see me do, if there are reels that you have seen that you would like somebody to like walk through and do a more step-by-step tutorial like thing, or, you know, if you just want to throw me a challenge, I'm happy to give it a shot. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.